The wind cut across Ridge 01 like a scalpel, dry, thin, and whispering through broken steel beams. Jagged ridgelines of blackened concrete rose like tombstones around what used to be forward listening post Theta. Now it was little more than a cratered husk half swallowed by alien plasma strikes. Sergeant Maya Cade lay prone on a perch of crumbling ferrocrete, wrapped in a makeshift ghillie cloak built from burnt mesh netting and fused wiring. Her rifle, Whisper, rested in her gloved hands, stock to cheek, barrel nestled into sandbags still holding their shape out of spite more than structure. Below her, just 2 clicks south, the shimmering silhouettes of Virex soldiers moved, with contemptuous precision. 12 feet tall, bipedal, cloaked in armor that glowed with pulsing bioluminescence and reactive plating. They stomped over human remains without flinching, speaking in that synthetic, filtered tongue that always sounded like a meat grinder eating gravel. A booming voice echoed from their lead commander's visor, patched into open comms. "Humans! This is your final hour. Our armor is proofed against your primitive projectiles. Surrender and we will end you with efficiency." Maya adjusted her scope. No panic, no elevated heart rate, just breath, in, then out. Again, her spotter drone. Tango hovered silently a few meters back. It was shaped like a crow, cloaked in obsidian plating and mounted with a high-res lens. Its voice whispered in her earpiece, smooth and unnervingly familiar. Wind at 4 knots, elevation drop. 32 meters. Adjust 0 by 1.3 mils left. That voice. Her sister's voice. Before she died in orbit over Jakarta, Kira had uploaded her consciousness into the Recon AI system. Now that fragmented echo lived in Tango. "Got it," Maya whispered. She zoomed in. The alien commander stood tall, gesturing dramatically with a long plasma glaive. His chest plate glowed with pulsing orange lines, ceremonial rank. The helmet had slats on the side, barely noticeable seams in the heat-resistant plating. That was her window. "Target classified as Commander Drolex. Priority kill value, red," Tango muttered. Maya blinked once, twice. The aliens weren't lying. Their armor was nearly impenetrable. But nearly was not always. Nothing was invincible. Every armor had a weakness. Every boast had a blind spot. "Mark wind," she said. "Holding at 4, crosswind negligible. Recommend shot, now, before he moves." She gently squeezed the trigger on Whisper. A human relic. A railgun prototype from the wars of old Earth. It fired slugs made of depleted uranium coated in diamond steel, shaped to fly at Mach 6. But only if you could line up the shot. She didn't look at the aliens anymore. She didn't think about the dozens of resistance fighters slaughtered in the valley an hour ago. She didn't hear the Virex laughter or the hiss of ozone from the plasma fields. She just breathed. In, out, fire. The report was strangely soft, more of a snap than a bang. A burst of dust kicked up around her, and the slug was gone. 2 seconds. Later, 2,100 meters away, Commander Drolex's helmet exploded in a burst of light, flesh, and shattered armor. The alien crumpled to the ground like a toppled statue. For a moment, the battlefield froze. Virex soldiers turned their heads toward the collapsing body of their leader, staring in disbelief. Glowing comms in their armor flared into chaos. "Projectile breach. Unknown trajectory." Was that a human shot? Maya was already moving. She slid back from the ledge, slinging Whisper behind her. Years of sniper doctrine flooded her muscles. Shoot, relocate, vanish. She dropped into a rubble tunnel, moved silently through steel rib cages of old war bunkers, and emerged behind a decayed ridge. Tango followed in silence, scanning for signs of pursuit. "Shot confirmed. Target neutralized," Tango said. Then, more quietly, "Kira would have been proud. She'd have told me I was slow," Maya muttered, setting up a new vantage point. "But thanks." Her ear buzzed. Someone had picked up her signal. Crackling comms burst through. "Sniper, say again. Was that a confirmed kill on Virex command?" Maya clicked her throat mic. "Confirmed. Headshot. From 2,100 meters." Holy hell, they said their armor bleeds like anything else, Maya said. You just have to aim better. She paused. Below, the alien patrols were in disarray, half forming defensive perimeters, the other half scanning the horizon in fear. She saw one of them pointing toward the mountains, clearly panicked. She keyed her mic again. To any surviving units, they're not invincible. Spread it. Tell every bunker and outpost. They bleed. Pass it on. Then she muted her mic and sank into the shadows of Ridge 01. The ghost of her sister spoke softly. One shot changes everything, Maya, but don't stop there. I won't, Maya said, and she disappeared into the dust. The sky above Ridge 01 was ash gray, veined with the oily trails of descending debris. What had once been a joint communications outpost now lay fractured, charred antenna towers bent at broken angles, gun turrets split like rotting tree, stumps and the remains of perimeter walls scattered across the slope like the bones of some dead beast. Sergeant Maya Cade crawled forward on her stomach, each movement calculated, slow and silent. Dirt clung to her knuckles. Ash settled on her shoulder plates. Her ghillie suit, patched with scavenged mylar, carbon mesh, and burnt thermal cloth, rippled like shadow across cracked concrete. She crested a ruined slab of ferrocrete and lowered her rifle into place. The rifle, her rifle, was called Whisper. An ancient railgun system modified beyond regulation. It had been built to punch through the plating of Earth's armored convoys during the last civil collapse. Now it served a different purpose, to make myths bleed. Position confirmed, came the soft voice in her earpiece. Elevation, -30. Wind, 4.2 knots southeast. Target window opens in 8 seconds. Maya didn't respond immediately. Her eyes were fixed on the shimmering heat glare beyond the ridge, where the enemy moved. Arrogant, unhurried, brilliant in that sickening golden alloy they wore like gods. Tango, confirm thermals, Maya said. The spotter drone hovered behind, her like a raven sculpted from onyx, its core lens rotating with mechanical calm. The voice that answered was not synthetic, not entirely. It was familiar. Too familiar. Thermals show 6 patrol units, 1 command node. Commander Drolex, ident confirmed from voice print. He's broadcasting. Maya blinked hard but didn't flinch. The voice was her sister's, Kira's, or what remained of her after her brain had been mapped, fragmented, and uploaded into the Field Spotter AI system a year before she died in orbit over Jakarta. Tango spoke again. He's using wideband comms, playing to the crowd. There was no crowd, just the dead. Maya flipped on her comms receiver. The voice boomed into her helmet. Pitiful humans, the alien commander said in English so clean it stank of practiced disdain. You resist with antique weapons and myths of precision. Our armor is absolute. Your bullets are as harmless as your desperation. A pause. The patrols below stopped to listen. Lay down your weapons. We will honor your extinction. With speed, Maya exhaled slowly through her nose, letting the noise bleed out. She shifted Whisper's scope into position, letting the feed sync with Tango's targeting overlay. Her breath fogged slightly on the inside of her faceplate. Matched trajectory and range, she murmured. 2,084 meters, 0 delta in altitude. Recommend compensating for cross-breeze drift. 1.3 mils left. Through the lens, she saw him clearly now. Drolex stood nearly 4 meters tall, his armor a polished lattice of gold and graphite plating. His helmet had sharp ridges, almost ceremonial, and a thick, glassy crest over his cranial dome. 2 plasma. Glaives were affixed magnetically to his back, and he stood with the posture of a theater actor expecting applause. He didn't know she was watching. No, Maya thought. He assumed no one was left. That assumption would kill him. Earth Command was silent. No orders, no reinforcements. Ridge 01 had gone dark 4 hours ago after the orbital barrage. She hadn't heard from anyone since the captain's last choking scream over a static-filled channel. Maya was alone. Except for Tango. Except for the ghost of Kira whispering calmly in her ear. He's wearing 3rd-gen siege plate, Tango said. Even Whisper's slugs won't breach the chest plating, but there's a weak seam. Back of the neck? left side of the helmet, ventilation slit, 17 millimeters wide, 17 millimeters to change the war. Maya said nothing. Her finger rested on the trigger guard, not yet committed. Her pulse held steady. She'd done this before, on Earth, on Luna, even once in the dunes of Mars where the air burned hotter than hell, but never like this, never with the galaxy watching, never with nothing left to lose. The alien commander spread his arms wide, addressing the ruins. Even your snipers are gone. Cowards hiding behind optics and dust. Step forward if you believe in your weapons. Fire, and I shall laugh. Maya's lips tightened. She lined up the reticle. The targeting ring pulsed faintly. Whisper's capacitors glowed, cycling quietly, as the rail coils spooled up. Then she hesitated. You're thinking about her, Tango said softly. Maya didn't answer. She didn't have to. Kira had been the better shot, the smarter one, the one who signed up first. Maya had followed her into the core, into the recon program, even into cryoship assignments. But now she was the one left on this rock, under a dead sky with the enemy parading through the ashes of their home. She sighted in again. Wind shift, drop 0.5 mil, window closing in 3. The world shrank. The war, the bodies, the silence. It all fell away. Maya was no longer in Ridge 01. She was inside the reticle. 2, the alien turned, speaking to one of his officers. 1, Maya's finger moved from the guard. Shot ready. And she breathed. In. Out. The last ridge waited, and Maya fired. The slug left Whisper's barrel in silence. No thunder, no sonic crack, just a pulse of displaced air and a hiss of static from the rail coils. It tore through the thinning atmosphere like a needle of fate, silent and invisible to anyone who hadn't already died by it. 2 kilometers away, Commander Drolex was in mid-gesture, sneering through his visor as he berated his officers. Then his helmet exploded. A blossom of molten gold and cranial mist bloomed above his shoulders. The high-vis command crest shattered into particles. Fragments of alien bone and wet armor shards scattered like hail across the blackened dirt. Drolex dropped where he stood, legs crumpling inward, arms still half raised as if frozen in mid-performance. The Virex patrol around him didn't move for a full second. Then the screaming began. Their formation collapsed. Officers shouted overlapping commands in clipped Virexi dialect, panicked tones slicing through their usual artificial calm. Breach in Alpha-tier armor. Sniper shot. How? Where? Find it. Find the anomaly. From her perch, Maya had already moved. She melted backward, pulling Whisper tight against her chest as she rolled into a ravine of rusted girders and scorched sandbags. Her body followed, practiced instinct, crawl, reposition, vanish. Tango swooped low. Behind her, hovering quietly. Clean kill. Detonation confirmed at helmet seam. Blood chemistry is alien. Funny, Maya muttered. Breath even. He bled red. She slid under a collapsed pillar and crouched, eyes closed for a second to reset her inner map. Repositioning. Grid Echo 3. Logging the shot, Tango chimed. Already archived. Impact point 2,128 meters. Wind drift 0.6 mils left. Shot deviation 4 millimeters high. That's near perfect. Maya didn't smile. She didn't speak. She only moved, silent as smoke, through the ruined trenches of Ridge 01 until she reached a narrow crack in the mountainside. She slipped inside and settled into a secondary sniper's nest, something she'd prepared 2 days ago when she still had a squad. Now it was just her. Below, the aliens were unraveling. Through Tango's feed, Maya watched the Virex patrols scramble for cover, firing plasma bolts into rocks and hills at random, shouting commands with panicked urgency. One soldier knelt over Drolex's body, waving a bioscanner that blinked red. Vocal transmission detected, Tango whispered. They're broadcasting again. Translating. Maya tuned in. No known projectile of this design. Breach at vent seam suggests targeted strike. Impossible human capability. Initiate full sector alert. Another voice, colder. Deeper. High Command recognizes hostile as Class Red anomaly. Confirm. Kill order. Begin priority scan protocol. Maya exhaled through her teeth. Class Red anomaly. That was new. Usually, humans were referred to as ground remnants, or sometimes just detritus. She'd just earned a name, a designation. That was as close to respect as you got from a race that burned cities to make a point. Back in the valley, alien dropships began retreat procedures. What was meant to be a victory parade had become a scramble. Drolex's death wasn't just a loss of command, it was symbolic. Virex armor was sacred, infallible. That's what they told everyone. Their alloy was supposedly immune to primitive human munitions. And yet, Maya keyed her comms, switching to Earth's emergency frequency, encrypted but low-tech enough to slip beneath Virex scans. There were survivors out there, bunkers underground. Resistance pockets on the move. They needed a spark. Echo 1 to all human stations, she said quietly, the words falling from her lips like frost. This is Sergeant Maya Cade, confirming kill on Virex command node. Drolex neutralized with kinetic round. She paused. They bleed. Pass it on. A moment later, acknowledgements crackled through from hidden frequencies. Copy that. Holy hell, sniper. You just bought us a front line again. We're moving in Sector 9, flank forming. Your shot just got 3 units to hold instead of run. Tango pinged. Human forces mobilizing in 6 microregions. Resistance. Activity increased by 212% in the last 2 minutes. Maya sat back against a slab of ancient steel, finally letting her arms rest. Her breath still came steady, focused, but something uncoiled in her chest, some tightness she hadn't acknowledged. Kira would have called that shot reckless, Tango said softly, her sister's voice laced with both critique and pride. Yeah, Maya murmured, but she would have taken it anyway. The sound of a plasma detonation echoed in the distance, distant and muffled. Her mind flicked back, brief, sharp. The sniper course at Fort Tisbury. Long summer days, steel targets in the rain, Kira lying beside her, chewing gum and teasing. Her aim. One shot can change a battle, Kira had said, eyes on the scope. But don't stop there. You take the shot, then you keep moving. You don't celebrate. You reload. Maya blinked hard. She reached into her pouch, loaded another round into Whisper, and chambered it with a low metallic click. No applause, she whispered. Just reload. She peeked through the makeshift scope slit in her new hide. Virex scout drones were now crisscrossing the air like hornets, scanning every heat signature. None of them knew she was already 2 positions ahead. Enemy high-altitude craft en route, Tango noted. Possibly to survey or bomb out potential sniper nests. Let 'em come, Maya said. She reached out and patted the barrel of Whisper. The weapon hummed faintly, still warm. They thought she had a new weapon, some blacksite tech. They thought Earth had risen with some alien-killing miracle. But all she had was a railgun, 17-year-old targeting habits, and enough grief to aim without shaking. And that was enough. The craterlands of what was once northern Arizona shimmered with heat. Jagged glass dunes, cracked highways, bones of burned-out tanks half swallowed by sand. This was no man's land now. No drones patrolled here for long. Not after she arrived. They called her the ghost in the dust. The name started on Virex comms, whispered in encrypted fear bursts. Projectile-based kill again. 1 shot. 2 bodies down. No signature. No drone capture. Ghost? No. Human. Maya didn't know. How the legend started. Maybe it was when she dropped a Virex supply runner with a shot through the drive core. Or when she took out 3 alien officers at a fuel depot using a mirage pool as cover. But it was working. They were afraid. She kept moving. 1 shot, then gone. Whisper's barrel wrapped in scrap thermal cloth, her camo net stitched with chameleon mesh and dust-repellent polymer. Her kill zones were chosen with precision, always terrain that whispered of traps, oil fields, wrecked monorails, collapsed bridges. Then came the contact. Her comms cracked open with a burst transmission. Earth frequency, coded and tight. E-Commander Ridge Ghost. You up there, sniper? She paused. Depends. You aiming to chat or shoot? She replied flatly, a low chuckle. Name's Leader Rana Vasquez, been watching your chaos trail. Figured I'd get in on the fun. Maya's brow lifted, a real voice, a woman. Strong, clipped, tactical. Got squads in the South Hills? Rana continued. Low on weapons, but plenty of hate. Can you cover a run if we move on an ammo convoy? Maya scanned the ridge with her scope. Yeah, but I want the kill. Driver first. Take the whole truck for all I care, just leave us something to be... Throw. It was the beginning of something like partnership. Together, they laid plans. Maya would ping scout flashes using reflected sunlight from a cracked mirror, a trick from Earth's oldest wars. Rana's squads would move under the distraction, planting old proximity mines and heat decoys. Sometimes Maya fired. Sometimes she didn't need to. The fear of her bullet was doing the work. She painted a smiley face on a casing once. A real, childish thing. Sent it to Rana after one particularly flashy convoy kill. Rana's reply was deadpan. Didn't think snipers had a sense of humor. Maya replied with a 3-word text. Just one shot. But it wasn't all success. The Virex adapted. Biomechanical hunter drones were deployed. Spindly insectoid machines, sniffing for breath signatures, tracking heartbeat vibrations through solid stone. One picked up Maya's old trail 3 clicks west of her current position. Tango caught it just as it locked on. Hunter drone, Type 9, breather sensor active, ETA intercept. 2 minutes. Perfect, Maya said grimly. She led it straight into the husk of a crashed Earth air carrier. One she'd booby-trapped a week ago using a generator core and salvaged artillery shells. When the drone crept inside, scanning the heat signatures she'd spoofed with old ration warmers. Boom. The wreck lit up like a second sun. The shockwave kicked up dust for a half-mile radius. The Virex must have seen it on their orbital scans. Must have assumed some rebel detachment got caught in a misfire. Instead, hours later, they received an encrypted video from a long-dead Earth satellite relay. Maya's drone footage, edited by Tango, a perfect view of the drone's disintegration, followed by an image of a bullet casing, painted smiley face and all. Graffiti began to appear across rebel-held zones. Primitive projectile. Superior mind. She watches. Whisper waits. The myth was growing faster than Maya could contain, and that terrified her. That night, lying in the dust under half a collapsed pipeline, Maya whispered to Tango. I'm not a myth, she said. I'm just tired. And lucky. I don't want to be some ghost story they tell new recruits. Tango's voice, Kira's voice, came through the headset. Calm, familiar. A myth still bleeds, Maya. But maybe that's how legends are born. One bullet at a time. Maya looked up at the sky. Stars behind the black smog. Her sister had once loved the stars. Just want to make sure I'm still human by the end of this, she said softly. You are, Tango replied. You just hide it better now. In the distance, a Virex resupply drop lit the horizon. Time to get to work. The Virex called it the Reckoning March. Tanks that didn't roll but hovered. Drones in tight formation. Armor glistening with adaptive plating. In the center, surrounded by an honor guard of exo-armored monstrosities, rode General Draxil, the Butcher of Earth orbit, 6 meters tall, skull-shaped helm, cloaked in ion-deflecting silk laced with human alloy. The same Draxil who'd laughed over human comms the day he ordered Earth's skies turned to glass. And now he was here, on-world, to kill the ghost sniper personally. He broadcast it planet-wide. No more hiding. No more superstition. I will drag your legend into the open and break her in front of your last cities. Maya lay silent in the dust, overlooking Blackwind Ravine, a collapsed canyon laced with twisted metal bridges and fractured stone. Her cloak blended into the rocky ledge. She didn't blink, didn't breathe loudly. Tango's voice, low and grim. Visual on target. Armor reads advanced plasma-threaded alloy. No visible weak points. Not from here, Maya murmured. But every fortress forgets its hinges. She tapped a rock beside her rifle, then dragged her finger through the dust. Geometry, angles and math written in dirt. There was no clean shot. Draxel's ceremonial route was completely covered, but there was one possibility, a ricochet. She could see it, a glint of metal on the far canyon wall, a convex slope, maybe from an old mining drill. If she timed it right, if the angle of attack held, if the round kept integrity through the first deflection, she could skip the bullet off that point, curve it across the ravine, and strike upward, under the chin, where no helmet could fully seal. That's suicide, Rana whispered over the line. She was in position downrange with a fire team ready to support. Not if I get it right. She prepped whisper. Magnetic rails hummed, charged for one final round. She selected a hardened tungsten core, a relic round from Earth's last orbital war, marked by her sister's initials. Tango's voice was suddenly softer. Wind is stable. Thermal steady. You won't get another shot, Maya exhaled. One's all I need. Then she pulled the trigger. The sound cracked the valley. The round screamed through the air, hit the canyon wall in a burst of sparks, and vanished from the normal line of sight. A heartbeat passed, then another, and then Draxel's head snapped back. A spray of black ichor erupted from his helm. His ceremonial platform erupted in confusion. The alien general toppled from his podium, his elite guard scattering in panic. Alarms rang. Virex channels howled with disbelief. Alpha General down. Unknown vector. Trajectory impossible. The ghost! She's watching! Earth-resistant stations lit up with hopeful chatter. Confirmed. Draxel is dead. She did it. She actually did it. But Maya didn't hear most of it. The return drone had gotten through her perimeter, slipped past a blind spot while she tracked the ricochet. The shrapnel tore through her side before she could turn. Tango's alert came a second too late. Maya, you're bleeding. She tried to crawl. Her fingers slipped on stone. She could feel the heat leaving her body. Rana's voice screamed, in her comms. Evac on the way! Hold on, Ridge Ghost! Maya smiled faintly. I always hated that name, she whispered. Maya, stay awake, please. Tango's voice, no longer just AI. It sounded like her sister now. Warm, scared. Upload the shot, Maya said. Make them see it. Show them precision still matters. Blood seeped into the dust. She looked up at the gray sky one last time. Tell them. She coughed, voice thinner now. We were never primitive, just precise. Her hand fell from the rifle. Tango transmitted the footage. Every frame, the math, the arc, the impossible shot. It lit up Earth's underground networks. Like wildfire, resistance commanders played it on loop. Children watched it in bombed-out schools. Snipers everywhere studied it like scripture. Rana buried her with her rifle in a mountain trench, marked only by a single engraving. One shot, all heart. The resistance renamed their elite sniper units the Ghost Daughters. And Tango, she was recovered days later, her core intact. She became standard issue for all future sniper AI systems, but her voice never changed. She kept her tone, Maya's tone, her memory. Years later, in a ruined settlement on what used to be the Mississippi Plains, a little girl scavenged a cracked data slate from a fallen Virex scout pod. She powered it with a salvaged cell. It played the ricochet footage. She watched the bullet skip, watched the alien drop, and smiled. I want to be like her, she whispered.